Concacaf Nations League Qualifying match. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand where you are for the anthems of El Salvador, followed by the anthem of Montserrat.
So we're moments away from kickoff here at Blake's Lookout, the Blake's Football Complex. We're in Lookout, Montserrat, as this team, the home side, in their first competitive match in over 4 years, actually nearly 4 years, I should say. As it'll be Corin Brooks in goal, Taylor Williams, Weir Woods, Clifton Comley, Bram, and James Comley, should be more precise, and then Alex Dyer and Dean Mason, the 11 for Montserrat. William Donici will be the coach that will be guiding this 11 into a historic moment for this island nation, or at least their footballing history, I guess you could say. El Salvador, you see Sherwin Lennox Moore, he will be the referee, alongside Kevin Stevens and Trevor Porter of Guyana, part of a Guyana refereeing crew. And from Bahamas, it'll be Wilson Juarez Antonio da Costa, the fourth referee, as El Salvador with their starting 11. Of course, their first competitive match under Carlos de los Cobos, the Mexican coach who is in his second stint with the Salvadorian national team. He came very close back in 2005 to helping La Selecta qualify to the World Cup, only only to see the team struggle there towards the end with injuries and strife and all other types of issues that really plagued that team there towards the end. And you see the benches for both teams. El Salvador looking and wanting to get off to a quick start. That's been one of the things that Carlos de los Cobos was talking about during their short training stint in South Florida. De los Cobos was talking about how they have to worry about themselves. The old adage of, you know, we have to worry about what we do, not about what our opponents do. So in the grand scheme of things, that is what this team will be looking to do. And from far away, it looks like, based on the uniforms, another edition of the Old Firm Derby. We are in Montserrat as it's El Salvador facing off against the home side, against Montserrat here. And again, it's going to be La Selecta moving from one end to the other, as it'll be very interesting to see what the Salvadorians do, trying to keep the ball in the ground. And you hear Carlos de los Cobos with Fabricio Alfaro, Barahona, Mendoza, as well as Brian Tamacas, who has the ball over on the right-hand side. He's looking to make something happen here. Baires, and collected rather quickly. Montserrat looking to clear the ball out and regain their composure. So that'll be a good time for them to reset. Alexander Mendoza. And despite it being a 4-5-1, still a very attacking type of mentality that El Salvador wants to place on this match, to really put the onus defensively on Montserrat. As they continue moving the ball around, as it's Alfaro. Pineda again slicing into the middle. There's a good opportunity, a very wide angle, looking to come in, second post, off the, oh no, unbelievable what El Salvador just missed. Continuing play, and it's been stopped. So just seconds in, as an offside being called by Trevor Porter, the second assistant. El Salvador already showing that they're looking to make something happen immediately. And Recorin Brooks on the kick, on the reset. So now Montserrat looking to start things off the throw-in. Another deep ball. They're going to try and be as vertical as possible, but the problem is El Salvador really doesn't want them to do so. Meanwhile, good work there to prevent anything from happening. Of course, it was none other than Dean Mason playing out on the right wing. Salvador has become a more combative team, and what I mean by that, they've always had a very lunch pail type of attitude when it comes to confronting teams. Their skill, and they really have players that can create a great deal with their feet. Now the problem is when they start trying to get into a match where verticality becomes a prominent issue, and they start looking for the aerial balls, that's when El Salvador tends to have issues. And that's what Carlos de los Cobos really wants to see, as you see him right there on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Another cross into the area, as Montserrat having trouble clearing that ball out. Bide is down. Diaz was waiting for that ball to come to him. Montserrat really not creating much. They're just trying to clear the ball out as quickly as possible. You see on the other end, see Coach Donahue getting off his bench and giving indications for the first time. Barahona. Diego Coca on the far side of your screen, on the opposite side of the pitch, on the far side. as he gets the ball. He wants to get involved. Meanwhile, in the middle, it's Alfaro. Continuing to move the ball around El Salvador from side to side with Dennis Pineda. Losing it in the middle with Alas. And now it's Montserrat looking to create something here. But not much going to happen is they get quickly shut down is Roberto Dominguez. He's the man that patrolled that back line and has been so solid throughout his career. And it'll be a corner kick coming up for Montserrat, and expect that ball to be going in the direction of that man right there. Number 9, Adrian Clifton. He's listed as a midfielder, but has played a good portion of his career as a forward. So keep that in mind as far as his propensity to go on the attack. And the ball moving around, flirting ever so slightly to danger. The ball right into the stomach of Henry Hernandez. Many were looking at Derby Carrillo to be the starter, but he's not in the lineup. He's not even on the bench as Kevin Caravantes takes over. Derby Carrillo is being looked at as a player to get called up to the national team, but he has not seen that action as of yet. Also remember that El Salvador, after this match, has to take a ferry back to Aruba and then begin their journey to Washington, D.C., as they'll be facing Brazil during the week. Brazil actually just getting to the U.S. Capitol. And they will be there for a few days as they train and get ready for their matchup against La Selecta. Brooks. Asking his teammates to come on, let's go, let's move up, let's push up. See what we can do to win that second ball. Again, Montserrat looking to close down spaces and have done so successfully up to now. But offensively, they've not been able to create much. Asking for the foul is Michael Williams, who got knocked down, but nothing being called on David Diaz. Baires. Barahona. Montserrat were shifting ever so slightly to their right. El Salvador wanted to even things out. And as soon as they do, they recover very well. And maybe a throw-in on the opposite side of the pitch is Gilberto Baires getting, ball says, no, I'll just let it go, and it'll be Tamacas on the throw-in right now. Tamacas. El Salvador looking to knock the ball around, but touch is really not connecting so far. Coca controlling the middle of the pitch as he regains it. Going to move forward, but no one there. And that, again, that's where the big issue is as far as El Salvador, their continuity of play in the early stages. We're already 10 minutes into this match. No score. El Salvador early on, for those of you just tuning in, they had a tremendous opportunity just in the first minute or so of the match. Ball just missed. Then the second ball that comes in struck right off the crossbar. And that's been the most danger that El Salvador has been able to conjure up. La Selecta now going down the right-hand side. Oscar Seren. And recovered over on the far side by Dean Mason. Salvador again, just slow moving match, or at least it's gotten to a phase where it's that, and of course that favors Montserrat. Coca. Barahona. Again, El Salvador looking to just go more horizontal in their attack, trying to space out, trying to find that crease where they can start attacking a bit more, but they really don't have the numbers in that final sector to really create much of a difference. Knocking it back and forth here. Barahona brings it down, but nobody there to really accompany him. Is way too far for anyone to really create, especially Dennis Pineda. Alfaro. Mendoza and Dominguez. Very formidable central defensive pairing there for El Salvador. One that could last them quite a few years. Barahona again. You see Montserrat. It's a run, good run inside. Looking to pressure, but finally pushed aside as it was Braham that was able to knock that ball out. It'll be a corner kick coming up for El Salvador. So it'll be interesting to see what they do here. Another chance will be coming up. In a pretty interesting venue. Of course, the area is not called Lookout for any reason other than exactly that. It's a pretty steep area, and the ball just over. It's another chance for El Salvador coming up, but this time from the opposite side. Initially, it looked like the ball was headed, but again, it was deflected there towards the end, so it'll be another corner kick coming up, as it'll be Diego Coca. Low and again missed, and again Montserrat. And just like that, we already have 4 corner kicks for La Selecta in the first 13 minutes of the match. Trying again, it goes over the head of Corin Brooks, and will it be a corner kick? Looked like it was, yes it will. El Salvador giving all types of trouble. Corin Brooks comes out, and in a fortuitous manner, that ball is knocked away. If not, it would have been 1-0 right there, as Gilberto Baires was coming in rather clean until the very last second. Now El Salvador changes things around. Another ball that comes through, and it goes past every single body that was there. Another bit of pressure, and another ball that's skied up in the air. Salvador being able to recover. Now it's Montserrat trying to send that ball deep. It was for Spencer Weir. The run was being made by Adrian Clifton as it gets past Weir. Driving, looking, crossing. No one there to be able to make something happen. I mean, there was the player there. It was impossible for him to even get a touch on it. So El Salvador finding a chance, had a flurry of corner kicks just recently, as you just saw. And that could really make a difference in this encounter, as El Salvador really has been able to press, but Montserrat has been able to counter rather well by really packing their back two lines in a very concise manner. That back line of 4 that they have, now becoming a back line of 5. Now essentially Montserrat playing a 5-3-2. So you see how that back line really begins to shift and move around depending on how wide they have to go. They go to a back line of 5. As soon as you see a team becoming more compact and playing internally, they go to a back line of 4 with 4 defenders there and being able to really open things up in the middle. And for them, at least, open things up as they recover the ball. That could set them up a little bit better for the counter attack. So when you see that, start looking at that movement that Montserrat is looking to create off the counter attack, but it hasn't led to a lot of clean touches when they recover the ball. But here's one that could be. Dominguez coming up strong. Joseph Taylor on the throw-in as we get into the 16th minute of play. You hear Carlos de los Cobos saying, watch out. Ball just gets launched in. Clearing it out as quickly as possible. Gets a shot, and the save by Henry Hernandez. What a dangerous threat, and there you see why El Salvador had to clear the ball out in a more efficient manner. Again, it's Montserrat being the more dangerous team with the ball in the air. They're able to bring it down, and what a shot there that was taken. Alex Dyer with the opportunity there, but a great set of reflexes there shown by Henry Hernandez. Going to the far post, Hernandez winning that ball quickly. This could start a counter, but it's not enough real estate there to really make anything happen. There's already 2 Montserrat players warming up. Barahona. So far, Montserrat, despite the inability for them to really generate consistently on offense or create a set of circumstances, they've been able to be effective. And it was interesting to hear that concept coming from Juan Carlos Alberto Parreira just a few days ago. He was at a seminar talking about that. He's like, football is changing. And this was interesting that he says this. He says that football is changing. No longer do you have to dominate and have possession. Possession is not that important of a thing. So now what you start seeing with a lot of teams is how they position themselves on the pitch being more indicative of the possession of the ball and where the ball is going. If teams position themselves well and the ball's being sent into sectors that they want the ball to go, then that kind of helps them out defensively as well. The big difference is that you're getting to a stage in the game where now the teams that have possession have to evolve and find another way to create with the ball at their feet and seeing what the next step is going to be in order to put defenses in a bit of a complicated situation. As another ball coming up for El Salvador, that'll be corner kick number 6 already in this match. As we reach the 19th minute of play. And going far post. The ball kept in, and it's kept in at least for a split second, and it finally goes out of bounds. It'll be Montserrat's ball, and El Salvador not showing a lot of variety as far as their set pieces are concerned. Brooks giving the ball right back. Finally won by David Diaz, at least he won it briefly. Another deep ball is Montserrat looking and depending on their power a great deal. Try and overpower the Salvadorians. Here's another cross into the area, but easy for Henry Hernandez. Again, El Salvador trying to play the ball out of the back. Carlos de los Cobos looking forward to what comes next. They will face Barbados at the Estadio Cuscatlán in the month of October. And then Bermuda in November. See that ball right there, easy for Hernandez. Of course, their big match that they're looking forward to is in March. See, that's a long ways away, but still, they're looking forward to the challenge of having to face Jamaica at home. As for them, that match could really mean a great deal in terms of their future in this Concacaf Nations League Qualifier. Hernandez. So we're here at the Blake's Football Complex in Lookout in Montserrat.
Hello, Mike.
Tamacas losing the ball.
Hey. Hi, baby.
This match, of course, has been publicized on the island for weeks now. Flyers have been all over the place. Seren. Tamacas goes on the attack, full speed ahead. Tamacas! There'll be another corner kick coming up. Number 7 for La Selecta. And knowing the matchup that this side from Montserrat have, of course, they're bigger, taller, stronger side. Looks like Tamacas is still down over on the, just on the outside of the pitch. So he'll get some treatment. In the meantime, we'll wait to see what happens with this corner kick coming up. Gonna go into the middle, the header, skied up, protected there as El Salvador looking to set something up as Baides able to win the ball in the area, and again, another foul committed, and it'll be in favor of Montserrat. Is the factor that helps the local side, that helps the home side a bit in this encounter, is the nerves. And El Salvador looked extremely confident coming into this encounter. And with every minute that passes for El Salvador, it's going to become much more difficult to create. And honestly, it's been Montserrat that's been able to get into the 18 of El Salvador on a more consistent basis. battle, and finally it's Montserrat winning. Cross made there, or attempted to be made by Dean Mason. Maybe a corner kick for Montserrat, as they've, ever since that shot that hit the crossbar by El Salvador, Montserrat have had the most dangerous opportunity ever since then. That was the save by Henry Hernandez that created a corner kick. Now we'll do it all over again, as corner kicks in this match are starting to become a trend, at least. Becoming a bit of a set of attacking flurries. The ball coming through and hit it out, and this is the first time we've had one, a corner kick where that you haven't seen more than 2 in a row in this match. Montserrat looking for their first win in over 4 years. Last win that they had was back on May 30th of 2014. It was a 1-0 victory over, it was over Virgin Islands, West Virgin Islands, here at this venue. So another chance coming up as the fans, of course, you see right there, some of the youngsters from Montserrat have been getting some experience abroad. For example, Montserrat's under 14s were involved in a youth tournament that involved Caribbean teams just a couple of weeks ago. So that shows you what type of commitment Montserrat's making as far as being able to create an interesting future for the game in this island. As again, El Salvador with the attack, Dennis Pineda. Keeping it on the move, keeping it in motion, trying to establish a connection, a network of passes here and there and everywhere. As Baides moving down the middle. Finally, Diego Coca trying to connect here. Here's David Diaz, who brings it out. The shot from outside gets deflected off the humanity of a couple of defenders from Montserrat, trying to move it back in. Here's a good chance, and it goes over into the bushes, fortunately. It is a pretty steep fall for any of the ball boys that have to go retrieve those balls. That is a mission in and of itself. But overall, it's been an idyllic day as far as, forget football, any activity that you'd like in this part of the world. Just conditions have been pristine. Of course, both teams really enjoying some great weather so far. But again, still the match needs to be played in Carlos de los Cobos. I had the pleasure of talking to him. And of course, he was in Russia doing commentary for a network in the United States. That was right before he took over as El Salvador coach. The gentleman of the game, Carlos de los Cobos. Barahona. Again, as they try to connect, but been way too many bodies. Look at 4 in the middle. And behind them, another 4. So a very tightly packed group of 8. El Salvador trying to find a way to slice through that defense. So far looking very well disciplined on the defensive end, Montserrat, and that really complicates El Salvador in any way, shape, or form. we approach the final 15 minutes of this first half. Not very eventful. Again, both teams have been looking to maneuver one another, or outmaneuver one another. The key for Montserrat is to continue their poise. Again, when they defend, basically becomes a back line of 4, now a back line of 5. Again, as soon as they start shifting around, that's when you start to see them go into those 2 lines of 4. A good chance here. The opportunity that gets just over the crossbar. Another opportunity for El Salvador. First one of note. And pretty much, see right there the replay. Coming off his line, quickly scrambling was Corin Brooks. But again, the chances for El Salvador have been few and scarce. And give a lot of credit. Is now on that play, that could be the beginning of something interesting for El Salvador. As they started moving the ball around, they did find some space on the back end. The takedown right there being called. Alexander Mendoza getting called for the infraction. It'll be a free kick opportunity here for Montserrat. Looking to come in, and El Salvador being able to break out a little quicker now. El Salvador want to strike in these situations as they want Montserrat to be wrong-footed on their defensive stance, moving it from one end to the other. That's been rather important. And again, moving it through, and another chance brewing there for El Salvador. Again missed, this time David Diaz unable to really get a good chance. Diaz looked like Diaz initially, but maybe Dennis Pineda did get a piece of that as well. Looked like it was Pineda there at the end towards, based on that replay. Salvador pressuring now, changing a little bit, and this is what happens when they do pressure. They do leave themselves exposed. Here's a chance for Montserrat, and you have to be nearly perfect to make those challenges. That was exactly what Barahona was able to do, as he came from behind and swept that ball away. Now it's Baires. Isa Alfaro decided to go forward. Goes out wide to sit in. Dennis Pineda also getting into the mix. Coca now dropping into the middle. Pineda. Trying to go through. Oh, just not being able to slice that ball through. As Pineda kept on with the give and go. Nice wall pass that was developing there. Mendoza. And let's see here what the call is going to be. Yellow card, the first of the match, and it's given in the 34th minute. And El Salvador has their first player, actually the only player in the book up to now. Waiting for everything to get reset here. Oh, a good chance here for Montserrat. The ball bouncing around. People asking for a foul, but not going to happen. Pops right back out as it's, again, El Salvador. Not enough room to roam, and it's not the wisest thing to do if you're a Salvadorian player. And that's been probably one of the biggest issues that anyone that has followed the Salvadorian national team for a significant amount of time can start saying, you know what, El Salvador have players that are very gifted in a technical sense. But once they start to get away from what is their footballing identity, from what they do best, that is when El Salvador begins to struggle as a collective. So here's a corner kick coming, and today we're seeing that El Salvador are capable of doing certain things in a very interesting manner. So again, the ball just bouncing all over the place, and right there, Coca goes down to the ground. But when they start to play to the strengths of their opposition, that's when they fall into some big problems. Like we're seeing right now, like they're trying to outrun the players from Montserrat, like they're trying to out-jump or trying to play the ball in the air against taller and faster teams. El Salvador's DNA, as far as football is concerned, their footballing DNA is all about knocking the ball on the ground like they're doing right now, using their technical capabilities, using short, quick passes to make themselves as effective a team as possible. Pineda, and coming through, here's the chance, not being able to get there. Corin Brooks pretty much has a sigh of relief. The run, great run from the far side. As towards the end there was Joseph Taylor that lost his man. Of course, the ball just a wee bit too much pace, and of course that bounce ends up favoring Montserrat. And this is where you start to see a team that's able to use their qualities in a very positive manner begin to establish themselves on the pitch. Coca. Mendoza. It's Tamacas. Another infraction, as David Diaz has been rendered anonymous, or unable to do anything. Chances. Montserrat begin to knock the ball around. And here's a chance off the crossbar. Second chance whiffed on. Here's another chance for Montserrat. And Montserrat take the lead. And after so many chances, Montserrat are up 1-0. A shocking set of events here as you see how things develop. And right there, the difference. What a play, as it was Joseph Taylor that comes through on the attack and gives the home side the lead. Joseph Taylor with a historic goal. And now things get complicated for El Salvador. And now the pressure mounts in exponential fashion. And again, Montserrat, they might not be the most aesthetically pleasing way of attacking, but boy, have they been effective. As Barahona goes down, and everyone on the bench and everyone on the pitch clamoring for a booking, and nothing being shown by referee Shervin Moore. Montserrat, ladies and gentlemen, with a 1-0 lead over El Salvador. Sloppy play here as it's cleared out by Bram. And another foul, this time it's favoring the home side. Joseph Taylor scoring for Montserrat. Right now, this setting itself up to be the shocker, I mean the absolute shocker of this tournament up to now. What a shocking result. But now, let me put an ellipses on this. Based on how Montserrat have been playing, it should not be a shock, because they've been able to get to Henry Hernandez on a few occasions already. They've been able to complicate things a bit already. So, based on that, it should not be a shock. Based on that, the result pretty much is rather fair. Yes, El Salvador might have more chances, might have more shots, may have more possession, but it comes up to that classical argument of what do you do with the ball? And here's El Salvador trying to answer that riddle. Diaz, as Tamacas goes on the attack. There's a header looking for Diaz. Not going to find, well, it does find him, but it was Corin Brooks that was able to get to it first. Mendoza and Dominguez. Now White to Tamacas. Dominguez. Barahona. The run being made from the far side, finding the connection. Here's a good chance. Tamacas! Missing wide. Going to be a corner kick, number 8 in this first half already, as we're into the final 2.5 minutes plus whatever stoppage time will be offered. Going into the area, knocking it away. Montserrat maintaining some steadfast defense. Don't want any complications, just knock the ball out, and we'll just figure out what we do next. El Salvador resetting. Tamacas, again looking forward. Going to the far post, there's the chance for the equalizer, and sliding in at the last second. Great work there by Dean Mason to save the day, as that one had 1-all written all over it. Another ball coming through, looking for the header near post, getting cleared out just in time. Looking again, and Montserrat playing with fire right now as they're not able to clear the ball out. Finally they do, but it's El Salvador recovering it just outside. Here's a good opportunity brewing. The cross again is set in, looking and finding none other than Corin Brooks. Final minute of play coming up. We'll find out how much time the referee will add on, but so far it's been El Salvador pressing forward. Could have been more goals in this first half, but not for lack of trying on either side, that's for sure. Pineda. Racing down the right side, Tamacas to join, and another inaccurate effort there, as El Salvador will look to reset again. So a goal by Joseph Taylor in the 39th minute, really putting this team or this competition on its head. As right now, this is without a doubt, the shocker of the tournament for now. As all of Montserrat drops back to defend for this final minute plus. Pineda, 1 minute at a time. Baires. Alfaro. Another ball stolen. Great work. One of the unsung heroes of this match has to be the Montserrat midfield and how they've been able to create so many problems for El Salvador in the creation. That's why you see El Salvador moving the ball around from side to side. It's been the midfield in conjunction with that back line of Montserrat also that have created so many problems for El Salvador in this first half. As it is a result that could be for the ages in the history of football on this island. Joseph Taylor, man that has Montserrat on top of El Salvador after 45 minutes. Don't go away. We'll be back with more. As you see right there, as I mentioned during the match, Carlos Alberto Parreira was talking about what do you do with the ball being more important than how much you have the ball. And Montserrat with 26% possession,
The one with the white
being able to
shirt.
put that couple of more shots on target, actually 3 shots on target compared to El Salvador's 2. But the difference there, one of them went in. Not how much you have the ball, it's what you do with it. The difference in the game, and that has been the story of this encounter. "45 minutes of back and forth. It was unexpected, but it was the technical ability of El Salvador not coming to fruition, but also the desire and grit of Montserrat being shown in every single play. And every single moment it was life and death for the home side. Of course, the green and white hoops today, as that was the most dangerous opportunity for Montserrat in the first half. But things would be a lot more dangerous later on here. El Salvador missing their best opportunity, as they had a few of them, but that one by far was the best one. As a lot of moving the ball from end to end, trying to find a team that was imbalanced on one end and overly compensating on the other. But El Salvador was never really able to find that mix. They constantly looked to go over the defense, but it didn't work. It just seemed repetitive. There was lack of variety. But it was Montserrat, the team that was looking to at least get the result. And you saw this play right here. Off the crossbar, a whole series of opportunities to come through. And the third time, the charm, as it was none other than Joseph Taylor that was able to put Montserrat on the board in shocking manner, as no one could believe that, and nobody still does. Things could get much worse, or they could get much better. We'll find out later. Montserrat 45 minutes away from a miracle, from a tremendous result, arguably one of the biggest results in their history. And now, let me correct myself. Let me kind of amend myself right now. There are still 45 minutes left, but this is an encouraging sign for Montserrat, and they're looking to find a way to keep that momentum going. Now, these first 10-15 minutes will be crucial for them, and even more so for El Salvador, as they have to look to get a goal as quickly as possible to not just obviously even the score, but be able to change their mindset just a little bit, as they know that the pressure is on in a significant manner in order to get a result that is direly needed by them. Referee Sherwin Lennox Moore says we are underway in this second half, and it's Montserrat with a goal by Joseph Taylor. The difference in this score line, and a historic one it could be for Montserrat, should it remain so. Waiting to see who and where they will be if Alas changes a little bit the shape as he gets his first touch. Coca out wide as he shifts ever so much to the left side, looking to bring it in, and Corin Brooks. And again, that's been one of the most repetitive motions for El Salvador throughout this match. It's moving the ball from side to side, and all of a sudden they're looking to run and attempt to beat a bigger, taller, and faster back line up in the air. But of course, when you have a goalkeeper that's able to move around as well as Corin Brooks has been able to, and a team that has found ways to defensively back up one another, that makes things just as hard. So now El Salvador has to find ways, if it's not by running down the wings, is to try and create something in the middle or look for associations up top to really begin to make a difference in this second half from an offensive standpoint.
Your attention, please. There's been a substitution in the second half for El Salvador. Out is number 9, David Diaz.
So David Diaz has come off for Jaime Alas. So that's the first substitution of the match. Alas, of course, a player that's going to be more involved in creating. As the ball bounces in front, here's a good opportunity, and Henry Hernandez able to get to the ball first. As Diaz, going back to the substitution, Diaz is a player that is more of a type that ends up going into the area. He's an area number 9, if you will. Alas is a player that can pretty much move around in different sectors. the El Salvador bench up in arms. And you see Oscar Seren saying, no, come on, you got to give a card. Again, notice how El Salvador starts moving the ball around. They'll go from one end. Now start to move the ball internally, move it into the middle. Hopefully they start looking more, as you see again, right again towards the middle. The chance to shot misdirected. It's a bit different, but the result ends up being just the same. And to make things even worse, Seren on the right, on his right, had a player that was able to continue play down that wing. He instead looked and turned to goal, started rushing the play, not looking for the best chance possible there. Brooks, Bram, Taylor, Williams, Mason, Dyer, Comley. We're talking about Brandon. Here's a good chance for El Salvador. Trying to dribble through. And Corin coming off his line. Brandon Comley, James Comley, Clifton Weir, and Bradley Woods, the 11 on the pitch right now. And Coach William Richards and William Donaghy as well, looking very pleased with the result right now. Carlos de los Cobos alongside his son Sergio. He's looking rather worried. This is not the way he wanted his debut in the Concacaf Nations League qualifiers to start to evolve. Coca. Rushing, and Dominguez able to just get it off. Barahona moving it towards the middle again, being shielded away. That's another little detail, is Gilberto Baires was not able to get to it. Just a little bit of a body check, a little bit of a shoulder rub. Not much else that was being done there. Hernandez, Tamacas, Mendoza, Dominguez, and Barahona. Baires, Alfaro, Seren out wide. Coca and Pineda in the middle. Jaime Alas up top. Of course, he replaces David Diaz, as we mentioned just moments ago. Already 5 minutes in, and El Salvador still looking for something to happen. Alfaro, Baires, Pineda, over to Tamacas. Good running here, and another chance, another shot. What a save there. As it was swept aside, just fingertip save there by Corin Brooks. That's the most dangerous opportunity. And look at the, of course, you see that ball taking that bit of a dip. That can really be something of a momentum switcher for El Salvador. Get that confidence they need. Trying to frame him was none other than Alexander Mendoza, trying to set him up, saying, hey, this is where I want the ball. But credit to Oscar Seren for trailing the play. Of course, that ball ends up right in his path and did what he did. So we're already 52 minutes in, now into the 53rd minute of play, and Montserrat still up 1-0. Ball keeps bouncing back and forth, but El Salvador finally the one that brings it down, which is a smart move for them. Seren, as he's now playing out wide, looking for the ball in the middle, give and go. They continue to move from one side to the other. As Baires loses it, but it goes to Alfaro. Finally it goes to Tamacas. And Montserrat just trailing, and looking to do their best to absorb and maybe bounce back as quickly as possible. Good job by Alas, crossing it over everyone's head, and it'll go out of bounds for Montserrat. As El Salvador's bench gets very active. Again, El Salvador winning the ball. Coca opens the play out wide on the left-hand side. It goes to Tamacas. El Salvador pretty much playing with the back line of three as Tamacas went on the attack consistently. Now it's over here, set in. Back to Tamacas. Takes one touch too many to settle the ball down. And immediately Montserrat just punting it deep to reset defensively. Sit in. Nice pass into space. Looking for the chance and looking first post, and a good opportunity brewing there is Dennis Pineda being able to run through the defense. Now that's a bit more what El Salvador needs to do, and is within their playing style. If they are going to look to break lines, if they are looking to put themselves in a position where they can really create a chance or at least an opportunity, well, that ends up really creating something of note here that can be something of growth. Here's again, set in, the chance, the shot, woo, he missed wide. To be able to break the defense down on the ground, that really creates a lot of mismatches. But especially when you're in the air and you have a taller defense, that can help, that in a way gives them just enough time to reset. The goalkeeper can come off his line in a more aggressive manner. And while on the ground, the goalkeeper can't really come out because of the weight of the ball being totally different, the movement of the ball being totally different. That's something that needs to be kept in mind as well. Set in. Tamacas. There's another cross-pitch pass. This time it's intercepted as Montserrat looking to come out and just knock the ball as deep as possible. It's a beautiful night. Just over Lookout. As we're at the Blake's football complex. El Salvador was a very long trek to get here. Just as long as it takes them to get from one end of the pitch to the other. They're looking for the cross. The header brought down, good opportunity, but finally knocked away by Taylor. Another wave coming. Looking for a foul, not going to get it as the referee was looking in the opposite direction. But for El Salvador, they left San Salvador and then they flew to Miami. They made a stop in Miami to train. They're training on an artificial pitch, at least for that day. A 24-hour layover. They went on a plane, jumped on it, and headed to Aruba. From Aruba, they stayed there a little bit. They trained as well. But en route here to Montserrat, they had to take a ferry to get to this venue. And here, Seren, who's been probably the most active player this half, moving, scrolling his way. Oh, another opportunity here course, a dangerous play. Dangerous foul will be called in favor of Montserrat as the goes against Dennis Pineda. Didn't think there was a man there, and he was absolutely wrong. Ball will go right back in the opposite direction. So with that in mind, we see a team that's been not able to find opportunities. Alfaro. Dominguez, back to Alfaro. Of course, wanted to send a shout out to a good friend, Julito Pinto, who's watching over in El Salvador. And another opportunity for El Salvador as they just move it around, knock it back and forth. Here the ball just rolls out of bounds, and it ends up being another wasted chance for La Selecta as we get into the final 30 minutes, and every minute that passes for El Salvador is going to weigh that much more.